From 1974 to 1986, a mysterious predator terrorized California under several different nicknames: the East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker, and later the Golden State Killer. He broke into homes at night, attacked couples, raped women, and murdered entire families. For decades, he vanished into the suburbs after each crime, leaving law enforcement frustrated and entire communities paralyzed with fear. His first known attacks began in the Sacramento area in 1976. He would stalk neighborhoods for days, learning his victims' routines. At night, wearing a ski mask and carrying a gun, he'd break into homes, tie up victims, and assault them for hours. Often he'd place dishes on a man's back and threaten to kill both victims if he heard the plates fall, a terrifying tactic to keep victims compliant. By the early 1980s, he escalated to murder, killing couples in their own bedrooms. Over the years, detectives realized the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker were the same man. By then, he had committed at least 13 murders, more than 50 rapes, and over 100 burglaries. Yet despite an enormous manhunt, composite sketches, and thousands of tips, his identity remained unknown. His crime stopped in 1986, but the trauma he caused continued for decades. The case stayed cold until the rise of a revolutionary tool, genetic genealogy. Investigators uploaded DNA from the crime scenes to a public genealogy website, comparing it to DNA voluntarily submitted by ordinary people tracing their family trees. This breakthrough allowed police to narrow the suspect pool to a handful of relatives and then finally to one man, Joseph James DeAngelo. DeAngelo, a former police officer in California, had been hiding in plain sight. By the time police arrested him in 2018, he was a 72-year-old grandfather living quietly in a Sacramento suburb. Neighbors knew him as an irritable retiree who liked to tinker in his yard. None suspected he had been one of America's most wanted criminals. Confronted with overwhelming evidence, DeAngelo pleaded guilty in 2020 to multiple murders and admitted to dozens of sexual assaults. He escaped the death penalty but received multiple life sentences without parole. In court, survivors and relatives of victims spoke directly to him, recounting decades of trauma and fear. DeAngelo sat in a wheelchair, silent, offering little more than a whispered apology. The Golden State Killer case permanently changed criminal investigations. It demonstrated the power of forensic genealogy to crack cold cases once thought unsolvable, sparking both excitement and debate about privacy and law enforcement access to public DNA databases. Since DeAngelo's arrest, dozens of other cold cases have been solved using the same approach. For California communities haunted for over 40 years, the unmasking of the Golden State Killer finally brought a measure of justice. Families who had lived without answers could at last place a name and face to the man who had devastated their lives. His capture also became a symbol of persistence, showing that even after decades, science and determination can bring a hidden predator into the light.